Welcome to Make Your Big Impact. I am your host, Angel Tussey, also known as the Book Angel, and this is the show for authors, speakers, and thought leaders who know their story isn't just meaningful, it's meant to move people, create influence, and drive real results. And today's episode is one of my favorite formats because we're hosting a roundtable conversation with powerful voices who have each taken their message and turned it into impact in their own unique way. Let me introduce today's panel. First, we have Katie Nelson, dear longtime friend, a seasoned entrepreneur who has owned 4 businesses. She's generated multi-7 figures in revenue, and she is currently leading 2 companies, and she is widely known for her trademark mantra. Do I have to say this? Right? My little Disney girl in me is going, drink the Kool-Aid. All love, no bullshit. That is Katie Nelson.
I'm so proud of you, Angel.
Like I did it. I didn't even talk all over myself. Katie, I'm so excited you're here. Welcome. Next, we have Dr. Kevin Mays. He's the architect of the Conscious Leadership System. Best-selling author, brand new, hot off his bestseller book launch. The book is called Lead Yourself First. He's an award-winning speaker. He has coached over 1,000 executives and teams, and he knows firsthand the power of interrupting your patterns and upgrading your leadership. Kevin, so good to see you.
Thank you. It is absolutely my pleasure. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited you're here too. And somebody new in meeting in person, but not new in my world. We go back. We have been promoting her podcast throughout our network for years. Sheena Yap Chan. She's WSJ, Wall Street Journal. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brain work, Angel. Wall Street Journal bestselling author, founder of Confidence Through Visibility, creator of the Visible Framework, visibility and leadership communication strategist, podcast host, the Tao of Self-Confidence. Sheena, so excited you're here today.
Thanks for having me.
We also have Kristina Heagh Avritt, right? Okay, love that. She's a parent mentor. She's the founder of Vibrant Family Education, speaker, homeschool support, and podcast host of Bringing Education Home. Kristina, how are you today?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
I love it. And I'm Angel Tussey, author of Authorlicity, where I show authors how to become the obvious choice in your industry, create ongoing publicity and new revenue streams with a book in one hand and a guest microphone in the other. I love it. This is our host. This is our panel. We can't wait to see how this conversation unfolds. So before we dive in, I'm just going to have you repeat and tell our audience what you do. And then in one sentence, the project you're most excited about working on right now. And Katie, I'm going to start with you and I'm going to go in order of how I introduced you. So Katie, you're up.
Okay. What do I do? Well, what a question. We won't go into all of it, but I am the founder of 2 separate businesses that I currently run, Sales Uprising and Network in Action Northern Virginia. I am the president of the Greater DC chapter of the National Association of Women Business Owners. Ooh. And as of last week, you guys, if Angel faints, we'll keep the show going. Uh-oh. I am a best-selling author in 2 categories, home-based business and small business. Yes, ma'am. Just for you. So I can't.
Finally.
Yes.
You know what? I think I saw that. I think I saw that roll across my feed. Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. I have a great publicity coach. She says, hey, if you're going to write a book, squeeze it for all it's worth, man. So launched March 23rd, became a best-selling book author March 24th. Very, very excited. So that's the project that I'm currently the most excited about.
Okay,
I'm sure Dr. Kevin can attest to that.
Yeah, tell us what the book is called.
It's called Speak Your Way to Sales.
Speak Your Way to Sales. And Katie, what is the best way for all of us
Amazon,
to get into your castle, right? So we have Angel, you'll appreciate this. Within the book, it's a collaboration book, and it's about one topic for one audience from multiple perspectives. So it's all business owners talking to you about your speaking and how to make money from your speaking, kind of how you do with books. And in the book, there are QR codes. Literally, it's all there.
Email. Yes, it's all there.
Okay. All right. We'll grab it on Amazon for sure.
Yep.
And we'll put the link to the book in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Kevin, what do you do? And what's the project you're most excited about right now?
Well, I help high achievers and top producers become inspired executives and to develop that kind of wellspring of wisdom within themselves that allow them to weather any storm and always show up as their best self. The project I have been working on, Lead Yourself First, which launched on the 27th of March and was a bestseller by the 28th
Get it?
of March, just a couple days ago. So sweet. That's been a great thing. Now trying to figure out, how do I get the word out? How do I continually help people get on the train and learn how to lead themselves at a higher level? I have to say really quick, my father is 86 years old. And this is a foreign language to him. And he's been reading it, and just the comments he's able to come back at me with, like, I never thought of it that way. And just to see him developing this kind of insight and interest in looking at himself is heartwarming. Something I just didn't expect, and it caught me off guard. And it's great to see even an old timer can elevate themselves by my URL, upgradeyourleadership.com, is how people can find and get into the castle, upgradeyourleadership.com, and to see that even somebody 86 years old can upgrade their leadership.
I love it. Katie, can you tell he's drinking my Kool-Aid? Right? He's getting him in the castle. He's got his URL.
I saw he has his URL. I forgot about getting you my URL. I forgot about the castle.
I know it's been a minute, right? And Kevin, we've got you. I sent you a message. We're plugging you in. All sorts of great things for getting that message out into the world. All right, Sheena, you're up next. I know I'm so excited to finally meet you. We've been kind of in each other's worlds. Tell us what you do and the project you're most excited about.
Yeah, so I have a podcast called The Tao of Self-Confidence where I've interviewed over 800 women on the topic of confidence. I've written 2 books with Wiley. My current one is called Bridging the Confidence Gap, which is a leadership book for women. And I've been doing a lot of workshops, helping people, especially with visibility, especially for women. It's really hard to be seen, to put themselves out there. And the project that I'm currently working on is helping people get access to speaking and podcast opportunities, because I get a lot of questions asking, well, how did you get that? How are you able to get that? And so I decided to start it.
I love that. I love that, right? If you can't find it, I'll create it. Fantastic. And what's the best way for people to connect?
Yeah, they can go to my website, sheenayapchan.com, or they can also go to sheenayapchan.com/links. But if you forget anything, I'm literally the only Sheena Yap Chan on the internet, so I'm not hard to find.
You were not. No, I was, I went and grabbed and connected with you on LinkedIn right before. I'm like, well, there she is. Like, how beautiful is that? All right, Kristina Heagh Avritt. I love what you're all about because it's all family. I'm kind of a big family geek myself, but tell us what you do and the project you're most excited about.
I am a parent support person, a mentor that helps all these families who are finding a little bit of trouble within the education system, a way that is kind of tearing the family apart. So I help them get back on track with the education system. And if they want to make that change into something different, like homeschooling, I'm here to help them along the way, because the confidence of our parents filters down to the confidence of our children, and being empowered parents who know how to take charge of their child's education and really help them grow within that is another thing that really helps our children grow and succeed. We're raising happy, healthy, and successful kids the whole way through. And the project that I'm most excited about right now is in May, we are launching our family platform community. So we are bringing all the families I have all over the place into one spot where they can communicate and collaborate and do courses and be supported by the experts that I'm also bringing into that community to help raise these happy, healthy, and successful kids. Oh my gosh.
Right? It's a mouthful. It's a mouthful. My kids, they're all adults now, but 2 years ago, they all bought a house together. They all lived together. And I can't imagine trying to raise them. And we had so much issues with the school system when they were younger. But God bless you for what you're doing. I am super excited to hear more and to introduce my audience to you. I know this has been a big year of change for me, right? We've relaunched the podcast. I've launched a brand new community called Podlicity, so I can trademark the community, and it's a place where podcast guests and hosts meet. There's so many fun things going on, and one of my missions is to reconnect with every one of my podcast hosts that are in my network. So super glad that you guys are here with me today. All right, you guys are rock stars. You guys are superstars. You're doing like best-selling authors, launching new things, making big impacts. But let's go back to the turning point and let's just kind of remind people like it wasn't, maybe it was for you. Maybe it was just always like smooth sailing, no hiccups. You started on this path, you knew exactly what you were doing, and you never thought about giving up or walking away. But if there was a part of your journey that almost stopped you from showing up at the level you're at now, if there was, we want to hear it. And then if so, how did you push through it? And Kevin, I'll start with you.
It's a progression, as business owners know, of ups and downs. It's that roller coaster, right? So yeah, if anybody is being honest with themselves and self-aware, yeah, we've all faced those naders, those bottoms. For me, it was even recently just getting this. It's like I've been head down so long getting this book done and thought it will never be done. I wanted to launch it last October, and I learned long ago the power in just letting go and stop trying to over control everything and just trusting in the universe and trusting in God and just keeping my focus on the result. And, it's interesting to see the emotional climate, how it changed along the way, the internal weather from those moments of sunny days and an infinite hope inside to utter despair and a lack of clarity. When I rewind it all the way back in my life and think back to the point in my life when it first hit me the strongest, when I found myself, as we've talked about before, Angel, a moment in my life when I found myself at the end of the road, broke down, and thousands of miles from anyone I knew, with nothing, no money, no transportation, just absolutely on the California coast in a tent by myself with nothing. And to see what came out of that moment when I stopped trying to control everything and stepped into the unknown and just let the universe unfold. Brilliant, amazing stuff happened that I never could have created on my own. I never could have created with my own logic, because the universe, I've realized, doesn't operate by my rules of logic. It's much more grand than I can ever conceive of. And so even the process of birthing this book, it was a similar feeling along the way, this sense of helplessness, the sense of trying to manage my life and in this process. And at some point, just ripping the blinders off and sitting in my own squeamishness, in my skin crawling, where I'm not sure how it's going to play out and what the next step is. It's very familiar. I feel like it's a continual elevation. It's so funny though to look back and now feel like I have this higher level of success than I've ever had in my life, yet that feeling doesn't go away just because I'm at a higher level of success. It's all relative. And I think the final thing I'll say is I've learned to embody that and not resist it, that part of myself that feels fear, that feels the angst. Just embody it and know it's part of the journey. It's part of my journey on earth. Then there's an excitement in it. I had a client recently say he felt lost. And I thought, brilliant, you're breaking out. You're stepping into, and he said this, and it's funny because he was a leader, he was an engineer, very tightly constrained, and he had tears in his eyes. He never showed emotion. He said, I feel lost. I said, fantastic. You're breaking out into this new terrain. It's a new pathway. Now, it's easy for me in my work to see that in others, but recognize I have to do my own work. And
Right.
God, I felt lost along the way. But what do they say? Not everybody's lost accidentally. I'm lost on purpose sometimes, and I love it. It's a great.
I love it. I
great
love
job.
it. I love that. What a great answer, right? And just how funny is it? Like when you're feeling like completely down and lost, and somebody says, "Great, you're in the right track." And you're like, "Thanks." Oh, okay, Katie. How about you? I mean, you run multiple companies. You do every time I connect with you, you're like, and now I just did this, and I launched this, and I, grew the business here, and I partnered here, and I'm like, you are on fire. But has there ever been a time where you questioned that or had doubted that?
So for me, entrepreneurship is in the course of owning 4 companies. There have been some that have been more successful than others.
Mm.
And the second company that I owned, I had a co-owner and everything was going great. We're 2.5 years in, we're at multiple 7 figures. Like, things are sexy and they're moving. And, if you cut me, I'd bleed the colors of that company. And I loved it. Except that my business partnership wasn't the thing that I loved. And so, I had to get a business partner divorce. And that was probably one of the most difficult experiences that I've ever had in business. I had to take a step back and, because I'm human, now question everything. So not just that partnership, but is this something that I should be doing? Is this, is that the industry I should be in? Like, every question was on the table. Angela, I don't know if you know this about me. I know that you know that I have some tattoos, but I actually have a question mark tattooed on me. It was my very first tattoo. And if you picture a question mark that looks kind of like the question mark from the Joker, the very first Batman and Joker, from when Jim Carrey was the Joker. So imagine that question mark, but it also has like sun rays of color, because when I got it when I was 18, and my whole life was about making sure that I asked all the questions all the time, like never
You kind of have taken that to heart, Katie.
Right. So yes. So I went through a period of that again. Like, who am I? What am I doing? What am I doing this for? And that's when Sales Uprising was born. And entrepreneurship gives you the opportunity to question you all the time. And you will have amazing up years. There will be years where you're just like, yes, I'm so excited. Right before Angel and I got on this little roundtable so I could say hi to my friend, she got to let me know that she's having a killer, it's April 1st and she's having a killer year. And I just love that so much for her, because I also know, like, when it isn't for us, right? There are just some years that are sexier than others. And so right. I think for me, it isn't so much about being lost or being okay being lost. It's just that I know that I'm happier than I've ever been owning my own business and being the captain of my own ship, while having amazing teammates help me steer and all of these things and the collaborations and partnerships that I create. And that as an entrepreneur, I was never promised success. So I was never promised anything. So if I want to get to that next one, because there will be a next one, then just keep doing what you're doing.
Oh my gosh. So good. So good. So happy for you. But you're right. I mean, thank goodness there are some high years, right? Because that's what gives us hope to get through and just keep going when it's a little.
I love you, my Disney princess, but I'm going to challenge you and say it's not gives you hope. You actually have real data that says you are successful. You do this. You have the mathematics, you have the logic, and you get to overlay it with all of the hope and dreams that you want to deliver to your people, right? The hope that we carry, right? The hope that we carry is that our
based on data and facts, right? Yes. Okay. I'll receive that. I'll receive that for sure. How about you, Sheena? Has it always been a straight trajectory? Have you ever doubted or had anything that almost stopped you from showing up at the level you're at now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Growing up in my culture, we were not taught to be seen, to put ourselves out there. We've been taught to go to school, get a job, and never rock the boat. And I had to unlearn a lot of things to show up as who I am today. So a lot of self-doubt, a lot of people pleasing, this need to be perfect, second guessing everything. I mean, I failed kindergarten for coloring outside the lines and that of a photo when I was in the Philippines. So, I mean, that really affected me into my adult life. And people don't realize, our trauma really affects us. It's the reason why I wrote my first book, The Tao of Self-Confidence, A Guide to Moving Beyond Trauma and Awakening the Leader Within, because a lot of people kept asking me how to build confidence, and I really had to go back and ask them, well, what's really stopping you, right? So for me, upbringing, culture, the labels we have as women, being taught to not promote ourselves, not put ourselves out there because it's not ladylike. I really had to push through all that to get to where I am today. And it's not like I'm 110% confident. There's still things that I resist just because I'm human. But I mean, I've been able to push through a lot from if I didn't do the work.
Can I ask you, like, what was the catalyst for that? Because this is like your culture. This is like going against your family. This is bigger than I'm just like a woman. Like, there's other things that you push through. But like, how did you know like this is what I was meant to do and defy all of that?
I mean, I always knew I wanted to do something bigger, and I knew I was always meant to do something, but fear always, of course, stopped me. I mean, when you come to the States or Canada, we've been told success is going to school, get a job, and work till you retire. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's totally fine. If you love your job, that's great. But not everybody loves their job. And at that time, I didn't love my job, right? And so it wasn't really until my aunt passed away from a horrific accident that made me realize, oh my goodness, if I don't do anything, I'm going to live life regretting and being miserable because I didn't get to do all the things that I wanted to do. And so that was a huge turning point, knowing that, I could die tomorrow and not do anything that I wanted. So that was the catalyst that really helped me kind of step in and forge my own path. It wasn't easy, it was messy, made a lot of mistakes, but, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So.
Look at it, and look at her now, right? With all the things you're creating, all the women, all the people you've impacted. The ripple effect is grand.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, how about you, Christina? You are fighting against like traditional values and things the way they've always been done, and big conglomerate, right? When you talk about the school system, was there ever a time you almost decided to walk away?
Yeah, I mean, as a beginning entrepreneur, there was so much to learn and so much to put out there. And then you have your coaches going, you just need to step out there and just spread your message. But the thing that kept running through my head is, I'm just a teacher. I'm just a mom. Who's going to listen to someone who's just a teacher and just a mom? I don't have the PhD behind my name. I don't have the big, name and fancy titles and all those kind of things. But then as I was continuing to move forward, it's like, wait a second, who better to speak to families than a teacher and a mom who has lived it, who has had the experiences, who have gone up the ranks and done something different and something new, and to really try to empower those people who are like, I'm just a something, I'm just a mom, I'm just a dad, I'm just a teacher. No, whenever you grab all of that life experience and you bring it forward and you can share that message and empower people to say, oh, there is possibility. There is a different path that I can take. I don't necessarily have to follow the regular tradition. And a lot of that had to do with me stepping out of a teaching career of 27 years. I mean, it wasn't just a little teaching career. It was a big teaching career that I stepped away from to start this community and to start this company, and then to turn it into a podcast that now has over 180 episodes, and it's growing consistently, and people are saying, oh my gosh, that interview was so impactful because of this, or this interview really made my eyes open up and think, oh wow, there is possibility, right? And then when that filters down to the kids, because those are my heart, how can we help our kids be the great role model, the great person that really helps them shine when things aren't going right for them? And then, just making it all expand and grow from there. So don't just take I'm just a something. Think about all the beautiful things that are inside of you and bring that message forward, because there's a space and there's people who need you.
Christina, do you have a TED Talk?
I don't, not yet. I'm working on it in the background.
I'm hearing one. I'm hearing one in there for sure.
I do have a book chapter coming up in July, though. I haven't got it finished yet, but there's a book coming.
I love it, right? We should all be authors. That's my sweet spot right now, is making sure that everybody turns their story into a platform that can open up more opportunities. Publish the book. Okay. God bless you all for showing up, for sticking with it, and for being so vulnerable to share what you've gone through. Because I think that's the thing. Like, so many people see you and what you're doing and think it's just always, every year is a sexy year, right? Every year is a winner, but there's a lot of trials that we go through, and really we become, what's that thing where they take the broken pieces of pottery, and then they put them back. Yeah, we're ikigai. We are all ikigai, right? Because we're all broken pieces, but we come together and we make something even more beautiful and stronger than what we were originally intending, right? Okay, so now let's flip it around. When you think about your success and what has created the most momentum, right, that has been that driving force that has accelerated you or given you that most momentum, what would you say is that lever that accelerated your success? And Sheena, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, I think the biggest one would be just really believing in my own capabilities, right? Again, growing up in a culture where you have to be perfect in every way possible really stunted my growth. And, I always wanted to make sure I got everything right before I launched something when really I just needed to launch it and just keep going and course correct as I go. So, like in my book, Bridging the Confidence Gap, I talk about this strategy of ready, fire, aim. Start before you're ready, take action, and course correct as you go. And ever since I've been able to utilize that, yes, I make mistakes, but I've also gotten results. And those mistakes also led me to opportunities that I never thought was possible. And if I were just doing ready, aim, fire, I wouldn't do anything because I'm still trying to aim for something that I don't even know what I'm aiming for. And so, really, that was the biggest one for me because, especially for women, we deal with a lot more self-confidence issues. And, we're told that we go through low self-confidence due to inaction because we overthink or we tend to overthink. And there's been studies where women actually have like thousands more thoughts in their head than men, which is why we tend to overthink more. And so in order to stop that, it's all about just taking action. When I go do something, I just do it, right? Like sometimes I don't even know what, I'll do it. I'll do it messy. I'll start. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'll do it. And then I sometimes have to do everything wrong to get everything right. And now I'm totally okay with that because then I'm able to find what people are looking for and then give them a solution as well because they're probably going through the same struggles that I went through, right? And people don't realize sometimes we go through struggles because we might be the solution for that. And we won't, we don't understand it unless we go through it ourselves. So that was the biggest one for me, being able to just take action without overthinking and also being resilient because this is not a one-time thing. There's no such thing as overnight success. People don't realize, how much work it goes into, right? Yes, you get to work your own hours, but you could also work 24 hours in a day. That's what people don't realize. So yeah, those are some of the things that really helped me move forward.
I love that. I sometimes I think I have to climb this mountain just so I can, because I'm going to have to show somebody else how to climb it is what's happening so often. And yeah, the hour thing, the work hours. Somebody says that we're the crazy ones who will work 100 hours a week just so we don't have to work 40 for someone else, right? But there are rewards, but it's not without its challenges. And so I love that you brought that up, but just are still inspiring and encouraging. And even with the challenges, you're like, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. That's beautiful. How about you, Kristina? What has been the lever that's created the most momentum and success for you?
It's a lot like when I was in the classroom, right? When those light bulbs go off on the top of the head. Think a little bit of the cartoon light bulb, right? And the eyes light up in the glow, right? When you're working with a family, when you're talking to a guest on the podcast, and all of a sudden something just clicks into place, right? And they realize that they don't have to be perfect, that as long as they come at it with curiosity, and they're willing to say, I made a mistake, or I know that I can ask questions and get help to fix the mistakes or where I'm unconfident. That's what really keeps me going. Because as a brand new business owner, it was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to produce a podcast. I don't know how to get my website up and running. I don't know how to keep all these things in the air that I hadn't done before because I was in a classroom, right? I had different organization skills than what I have now. And so just being able to be that curious, motivated person that says, hey, it's okay to ask questions. And it doesn't mean I'm failing when I have to ask questions, right? And so another is just that connection with everything you do. You want to make a change in your child's education, but you don't know how. Go ask questions. It's okay to ask questions. And that's one thing I really wish our kids heard more was it's okay to ask questions.
Right? They start out asking all those questions, right, as little ones, and then you're just like, stop asking, right? And eventually they do, right? Okay, how about you, Miss Katie Nelson? What has been that lever that has created the most success?
So for me, I think that So if you guys can't tell, I'm a relatively energetic person. And I really am like this just kind of all the time. And so for me, energy has never been the challenge. Where I've always had a challenge. I think it wasn't until my third business that I recognized that this was a challenge for me. But trust. So I am the all love, no BS gal. And so I always work to walk in integrity and be ethical so that nobody ever has to worry. So for example, if you're just thinking about business referrals, right? One of the ways that we all do business, I absolutely want to be a trusted resource for my people. That's how I help, by being a trusted resource. But it never occurred to me that I may or may not trust the people that reciprocate that. That never occurred to me until I came smack up against it.
Oh.
And so when I was walking through the beginning years of Sales Uprising, I think the catalyst and lever for me was doing a trust, like literally doing a trust fall into my people and saying, and I don't think that they ever knew it. Like, I feel like they would be wildly surprised that this was ever a challenge I had, but it was really difficult work, internal work, to get to a place where I was like, okay, Katie, like, just believe that just believe. It's okay. Like, have faith in your humans. And I had I was very much like Dr. Kevin's engineer. Everything was so tightly controlled. And as a business development person, right, when you're selling, like, it's great. You're looking to get as much control as you possibly can. As a business owner, that doesn't necessarily help you. So I did my trust fall, and it was terribly painful, but it seems that my connections, my people, my collaborators, my peers, my community caught me, and I'm still here. So we're just going to continue to ride that wave.
I love the analogy, right? I think we've all had some level of a trust fall that we've had to do. What a good story. How about you, Kevin? What's been the lever that's created the most momentum?
Yeah, the most momentum has come from what I have come to think of as entering a state of radical disruption. Because I get in this point where the day-to-day just becomes so consistent and predictable, and I almost feel like I'm half asleep but can't see my way out of it, like I have blinders on. And there's something, the challenge for me has been to recreate that state of radical disruption. Because when I'm on the coast of California, my motorcycle's broke down. That's what I've come to love longingly, those states where I can't be the same person I was. I have nothing to fall back on except this state of presence and awareness and intention in the moment, and to trust. Now, I've done that so many times in my life, over and over and over again, but now here I am with a family in a home that I have to perpetuate the existence of others, and I can't just pick myself up and drop myself down in a whole new environment. And so that's the work, is how do I create that state of radical disruption without physically moving myself? How do I alter, put everything on, put the brakes on and just make a 90-degree turn, or reinvent myself in this moment? And, sometimes it's difficult because I get, the comfort of the familiarity. We moved to Michigan with the sight of not letting our kids be in one school all the way through. So longer than I've been anywhere. And now here we are. And at some point, it becomes comfortable. And that becomes, in my mind, almost, I want to say, the enemy. Because it's that discomfort, the dissatisfaction that really wakes me up and lets me feel completely alive. When I'm back to that state, as I said before, of just being lost, of not knowing, ripping off the blinders. So that's the thing I'm always looking for. How do I rip off the blinders and reinvent myself in this moment, even with a community around me who has come to know and unfortunately, I think, perpetuate that identity that I project. Because I love it when I go somewhere new and there is no identity and nobody knows me and there's nothing and it's all new. It's like, how do you create that beginner's mind from this moment? For me, that's the thing, creating that beginner's mind, the deep presence and letting go of everything I think I know and just stepping raw, unadulterated into the present moment. That's just powerful for me.
Kevin, just extreme coincidence. I was just talking to somebody who just recently moved to Michigan, and she's starting all over. And she's like, I don't want to be known as who I was before. I've got this fresh slate, and it's all fresh and new. And she's in Michigan. I'm like, it must be the land of the new, right? When you get there,
It's fresh.
it's fresh. It is fresh. Well, we are getting close to our time together, so I want to give you all a moment to just give a closing remark. Like if you were thinking of somebody wanting to connect with you, make that next move just out of your own business playbook. Let's give a 1 minute closing remark. And then also, how do we connect with you? What is the next best step to reach out to you? And Kristina, I'll start with you.
Thank you so much. All right. So the next best step, it goes down to that empowerment of thinking, right? You can make the choices that are difficult. You can find out the things that you need to do to move yourself and your family forward. So when I talk with parents, it's like, think about what could happen if you take that bold step of changing the environment or changing the way your children are being educated, and really think about what could happen in that. And you have been and always will be their first best teacher. Don't let somebody tell you that you don't have a degree and that you don't understand your child. So keep that in mind as you're moving forward. Vibrant Family Education is where you find me. My website is there. vibrantfamilyeducation@gmail.com is connected to that. And it has all of my events and everything. There are several things happening. Like I said, a book chapter coming up. I have a summit in May, and my podcast, Bringing Education Home, is there every week for you to find another way to help your family learn and grow.
Oh, this is fantastic. So excited you came here today, Kristina, right? How about you, Sheena? Closing remark, and how do we connect with you?
Yeah, I think the most important is that, we've always been told that if we do the hard work, the results would speak for itself, but really that's not true, right? It is important to speak for yourself, to share your achievements, to be in the spotlight so you can be seen as that expert, that leader in your field. So that's the closing that I want to share, because I see too many people who do the hard work, doesn't get recognized, or sometimes actually someone else takes recognition for their work. And so that's not what I want for anybody who's listening. So don't be afraid to share that. Also, if you're thinking about doing something, just go for it. Just do the ready, fire, aim approach. Do it messy, and you'd be surprised what you can achieve. And for all those who want to connect with me, you can check out SheenaYapChan.com/links. My books are there. Also, if you want to learn more about getting more speaking and podcast opportunities, I have more info on that. All my social media is there, my websites, my podcasts as well. So yeah, I would love to connect with you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Kevin.
Live messy. I love that you said that. It's like, just jumping into it. If you are ready to upgrade your leadership, if you're ready to upgrade the programming and to do it differently, because the old saying is true, what got you here will not get you there. And that's what I love about this discussion I've heard today. Everybody's offering an opportunity to do things differently, to really express yourself at a higher level, and to be the person you were born to be on this earth through the constraints that we were born into and that we adopted along the way. If you're a high achiever, a top producer, and you want to become an inspired executive at the front of the pack, somebody who's really leading from a place of wisdom, then please connect with me. I can help you get there. I can help you elevate your organization. We have systems and processes that are proven over decades to help not just create the metrics you need, but to help you be the person you need to be to create the organization that's thriving. So go to upgradeyourleadership.com and you'll see all kinds of information, whether it's how to access the book. We have podcasts as well. And I'm on all social media channels. Also go to mazeleadership.com. Check out all the stuff we're doing in our community, the great community around the world, actually, community of business owners and leaders who want to lead with wisdom. So check it out. Look forward to connecting. And thank you for this conversation. Awesome.
Yeah, it's been really fun, right? How you guys have all connected with each other. This was super valuable for me too. Katie Nelson, closing remark?
Just one.
I know.
So just really quickly, I love the themes of advocacy. So if you listen to all of us are advocates in our own way. That really just touched my heart, Angel, when you talk about how the universe will it'll all just happen. This would be the example of that. I love that we are hardcore for our people and we advocate for them to become the advocates for themselves in their own spaces, right? So that really, really just makes me, I'm big into that. So if people want to get a hold of me, the best place to find me, because I do have a castle. I just didn't have a castle for my book. So I did create a Bitly. It's already taken care of, Angel. If anybody wants the book, they can go to Bitly, Katie's Autograph. And what will happen is if you upload your Kindle receipt, I will mail you an autographed copy. So, oh yes, ma'am. Katie's Autograph. Get you some. But ultimately, what I do is I bring you the money into your bank account. I'm all love, no bullshit about how businesses take place when money exchanges hands, which isn't every business owner's favorite thing to talk about, but it does, it is kind of important if you want to be a business owner. So for any business owners out there who are looking to up their sales game, they want to get more intentional. They read, Bridging the Confidence Gap. They've got a little confidence and they're ready to go forward and go sell something. Please go to salesreferralsnow.com and I will give you the winning formula for how to make that happen.
Salesreferrals.com and Bitly.
Sales referrals now.
Oh, sales referrals now.
Immediately.
Gotcha. I'm glad I said it. Upgrade your leadership. Vibrantfamilyeducation.com. Sheena, what was yours?
SheenaYapchan.com /links.
/links. I'm like, I had .com. I just wrote
Yeah,
.com.
she's giving
I'm like,
you all the things, Mom.
I know.
All of it. I love it.
I wrote .com. I'm like, but I didn't write the front of it. Oh, because it's right next to your name. So yeah, we had it all. You guys are fantastic. What a beautiful conversation that we've had today. And you are right. Like we are all been out there advocating, not just for ourselves, but leading the way with others. So to my audience, if something in this episode resonated with you, I want to encourage you to do one thing. Share it with somebody who they need to hear something that was shared in this episode. And if you are an author, a speaker, a thought leader, ready to turn your story into influence, leads, and real momentum, make sure you are subscribed to the Make Your Big Impact podcast so you don't miss what's coming next. Grab my visibility playbook at visibilitybeforebreakfast.com and make a difference before you even start emailing, before you even get out of bed. No makeup or camera ready required. And until next time, remember, your story isn't just powerful, it is meant to make an impact. Cheers.